Guys, what's good? It's your boy Phil. And before we even start this video, this was a good chapter. This was probably, I'm gonna tell you right now, this was probably one of my favorite chapters of solo leveling in a long time. And for a lot of reasons that we're gonna talk about in this video that are great, that are crazy. I love this chapter for a lot of reasons. As always, my reaction VOD to this chapter is down below. It's in my Twitch. Go check it out if you want. That was a nice little stream. Thank you guys for coming out to that stream, everybody that came out. But, yo, this is a good chapter. This is a really good chapter for a lot of reasons. And we're going to talk about them. Obviously, yes, my boy Gogun-hee, rest in peace. He's dead. He's not coming back. He didn't get resurrected. Nothing like that. He's dead. That was very sad. And obviously, you go to the funeral, you see Woo Jin-chul there. He's down bad. He is depressed as shit. A lot of sad things going on with my boy Sung Jin-woo now. You even see him shed a tear. A lot of sad things, man. Rest in peace. Gogun-hee. I got to start the video off with that, firstly. But let me tell you, there are some things in this chapter that you looked over. You definitely looked over. Unless you're like a light novel reader, which if you are, then you didn't. But there's some shit here. So I'm gonna try and help you guys out, and help you guys open your minds intellectually and a lot of stuff. And you might need to do some rereading after this video. I need to do some rereading for sure. But without further ado, chapter 151, solo leveling, the review. Let's do this shit. Okay, in this chapter, there are 3 parts. There's 3 parts in this chapter that comprise everything that's going on. The first one is my boy Sung Jin-woo versus the Frost Monarch. I'm gonna save that one for the last, actually, because that's the most important part. You also got my boy Gogun-hee dying, which is, yes, sad, emotional. Shit brought a tear to my eye, made my skin get all icy and shit. Very bad moment right there. Unfortunately, he dies, and we'll talk about that as well. And the last one, the declaration of war from my boy, Sung Jin-woo. These are the 3 things you gotta keep in mind. 3 things that are the biggest parts of this chapter. So let's talk about Gogun-hee, right? Let's give him his respect. Rest in peace, Gogun-hee. You were great. I love this character. I thought Gogun-hee was amazing. I thought he was great. Just a giant old dude juggernaut, Master Roshi type guy in the series. Yes, we didn't see him all that much. We could have seen him more, and it kind of would have been cool if we saw him more, but he was always there in the back of our heads. We loved this dude Gogun-hee. Yes, he was possessed by the spirit of the ruler and all that shit, the fragment of brilliant light, all that good shit. We don't quite know actually what happens to that now, because, I mean, he's dead, and that was the fragment's vessel. So we don't really know what's going to happen with that. Maybe it finds a new vessel in some amount of years or some shit. I don't know. But yeah, don't pay attention to that either. It's not that important. Not that important yet. But Gogun-hee dies. We're at the funeral. Woo Jin-chul is there. He's down bad. Sung Jin-woo is a little sad too. The world is freaking out because that's 3 major hunters that have died in the span of like a week or some shit. In Christopher Reed, in Gogun-hee, in Jonas, who we get a look at and we get a name for. Jonas is the Brazilian hunter who died, who we got notice of a few chapters ago. So we finally get a face and a name for him, which is pretty cool. I didn't think we were going to get that, but, he's dead too. So the world is freaking out, and there's talk about who can protect the hunters from whatever is doing the hunting right now. So my boy Sung Jin-woo says, hey, I'm going to have a conference. I'm going to have a press conference. And in this press conference, on live television, on the news, all that shit, my boy Sung Jin-woo says, hey, listen, there are monarchs. There are monsters that are stronger than us, that are stronger than the hunters, and we need to go to war with these monsters. And I'm calling for everybody who wants to fuck up these monsters to go to war. Meet me in Korea. Let's do this shit. And boom, that's the end of the chapter. So that was pretty hype. Declaration of war type thing from my boy Sung Jin-woo. It is sick. Very excited for that. What I think is going to happen personally in the next chapter, I think this is great. First off, I think this war is going to be great. And I'm really hoping we see all the past characters in the series come through to South Korea and help my boy Sung Jin-woo out on this war. I want to see the S ranks from Korea. I want to see the S ranks from Japan. I want to see everybody. I even want to see like the A, the B, and the C ranks come through in Korea. Now, they're obviously, these guys aren't going to be effective fighting the monarchs, but you know, there's fodder to be fought. All these monarchs have armies and shit, so you know, they could fight the armies and all that shit. I still think it's going to be cool if we see all the recurring characters come through, or all the old characters, I should say, come through, because we haven't seen them in a while. Like, my boy fucking White Fang, we haven't seen that dude in a while. We haven't seen all the S ranks in a while. I think it would be cool to bring them back in this war. I think it'd be sick. But I also think there's a lot of potential here to see Luja Gang and his posse come through. Thomas Andre, if he's healed, could possibly come through. All the different hunters we saw at the conference come through to South Korea to help humanity fight against the monarch army that is coming through. And this war is going to start very soon. I think it's going to start very soon. I think that's definitely what the next chapter is going to be about. We're going to see all these people come through to South Korea, and it's going to be cool. We're going to get a look at what the cast is going to look like for this war. Obviously, for the past 3 chapters, the pace of solo leveling has been insane. It has been so fast, man. It has been moving so fast. 3 chapters ago, we were in the conference. We didn't even know if Thomas Andre was alive, and now Gogun, he's dead, and we're at war. So the pace has been going very, very, very fast indeed. And it's wild. It's a little wild. I've heard people say that solo leveling might end this year. It might end early next year. So it's wild. It's crazy, man. But I'm still excited nonetheless for this war arc. I think it's going to be insane. Now, here's the thing, right? Yes, the Gogun He stuff was sad. And, you know, we got the declaration of war, which is sick. And I can't wait for the war arc. That, for me, was, it wasn't really the main part of this chapter, right? Because there's some shit you might have missed in this chapter. In particular, like the first few bits of dialogue with the Shadow Monarch, or I should say my boy Sung Jin-woo, with Sung Jin-woo and the Frost Monarch. Yeah, shit was wild. Shit was a little crazy there. So basically, here's what's going on here. Obviously, yeah, the Frost Monarch, he's gonna fight Sung Jin-woo for a little bit. They're gonna trade blows left and right, all that shit. But in the beginning, it's a little weird. It's a little freaky with my boy, the Frost Monarch. So he's scared, obviously, right? When Sung Jin-woo walks up on him, he's got him by the neck and shit, choking him out and shit. The Frost Monarch is all like, hey, Shadow Monarch, why didn't you contact us? You have all these shadows. I sense these shadows in you right now. You should have contacted us. We could have got this war started a while ago. That's what the Frost Monarch is saying to my boy Woo right now. And my boy Sung Jin-woo's like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? What are you on about, bro? What are you talking about? This is cool. This is cool for a lot of reasons. And then the Frost Monarch goes on to say, okay, I see. There's a problem here. This is not correct. You're not the right Shadow Monarch. All that shit. There's a miscalculation. All type of shit. He calls him a vessel later on. And he's like, all right, listen, when your shadows open up again, this is when he's going into the gate, right? When your shadows open up again, we'll meet again and we'll fight and all that shit. I'm gonna keep you alive. You can go resurrect Gogun He if you really want to. He doesn't, which is, I respect that. I respect that a lot. And then the Frost Monarch goes his separate ways. He goes in his portal and he gets the fuck out of there. So let me tell you what's going on here. So way back when, Temple of Kartanon, right? The return to Temple of Kartanon. My boy Sung Jin-woo, he was supposed to die. My boy Sung Jin-woo, in the entirety of Season 1, Sung Jin-woo is being bred to become the Shadow Monarch, to become the vessel for the Shadow Monarch, who is the architect, I think, or someone else, or some shit, I don't know. But he's being bred to become the vessel for the Shadow Monarch. Now, when he returns to the Temple of Kartanon, he's really close. He's really close to becoming the Shadow Monarch. He's about to get his body taken over. He gets the Shadow Heart, all that shit. And Sung Jin-woo's about to die. He's about to die. Sung Jin-woo was not supposed to live on from that moment onward. But he devours the system. And becomes the actual Shadow Monarch. But he's in control, not the Shadow Monarch. So it's this kind of thing where you have the rulers who are controlling these fragments of brilliant light, who, you know, use them as vessels and they get their power and all that shit, like you saw with Gogun He last chapter. It's a similar thing for the monarchs, except they take control of the body completely. But that didn't happen for my boy Sung Jin-woo, in my opinion, because he devoured the system and he's in control now. So obviously the Frost Monarch didn't know that. He didn't know that my boy Sung Jin-woo was in control of the body, and that the Shadow Monarch wasn't in control. The Frost Monarch didn't know that, but now he knows that, and he gets away. So he's gonna be able to tell the rest of the monarchs, hey, the Shadow Monarch is gone haywire, and he's got a fat ass army, and he's gonna try and fight us, and we're gonna go to war now. That's what's about to happen right now. The Frost Monarch is gonna tell the rest of the monarchs what's going down. Now, interesting thing here is that this same thing happened with the Monarch of the Beginning. If you remember, in the Japan S rank gate break arc, the Monarch of the Beginning said almost the same exact thing. He said, hey, wait a minute, you're the Shadow Monarch. You're not supposed to be the Shadow Monarch. You're not the same Shadow Monarch I remember, right? That's what he said. That's what he said back in the S rank gate. So, different thing here is that my boy Sung Jin-woo killed the Monarch of the Beginning. But he didn't kill the Frost Monarch. So that's a bad thing. The Frost Monarch is going to tell all the monarchs, hey, Sung Jin-woo is in control of the Shadow Monarch, and he's in control of the vessel. And yeah, bad shit is going to happen. Bad shit is going to happen there. Now, another thing that's kind of important is that my boy Sung Jin-woo lives, right? The Frost Monarch doesn't try and kill my boy Sung Jin-woo. He says, hey, okay, you're still a vessel. I'll let you go, but when your shadows open up again, which I don't know what the fuck that means, when they open up again, we'll meet again. Some shit like that. So, this leads me to believe that the Shadow Monarch might still be alive in my boy Sung Jin-woo somehow. And they're keeping him alive for that reason, and he might still, you know, resurrect or some shit. He might still regain control of my boy Sung Jin-woo's body. So that was all in the first few text boxes of the chapter. Sure, you have Gogenhe's death, you have the declaration of war, but there's some big shit that happens in those first few text boxes that I think you had to know about. And that's why I'm here, and that's why you're here, to make sure I'm on the right path. Because that was crazy. That was some crazy shit. I have to reread the Return to the Temple of Cardonon. I have to reread the S rank gate just to check over some shit, see what's going on there, because those are some things that are coming back and forth now, man. Very important stuff is happening in solo leveling right now, and it's cool. It's really cool. It's really cool shit. I'm hyped. I'm excited. So there's also my boy Sung Jin-woo's father, who has the potential to show up to Korea. Now that, you know, my boy Sung Jin-woo made that declaration of war on television, I want to believe that he shows up, but I don't know for sure if he's gonna show up. He's kind of a wild card. He's kind of a coin flip. You never really know. You never really know if Sung Jin-woo's dad is gonna show up or not. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he's gonna show up. That's a coin flip for sure. But I think we're gonna see a lot of familiar faces show up for sure. And it's going to be cool, man. It's going to be cool. The war versus the Monarchs is coming up. We are on a completely different path of solo leveling than I thought we were going to go on. But I'm excited nonetheless. I'm excited nonetheless because there is some hype shit and there's some cool shit happening for damn sure. It's just crazy, man. It's just crazy. If you guys want to watch the VOD, by the way, if you want to watch the VOD, the link is down below. It's like an hour long or some shit. There's a much deeper explanation there for what we thought was going on in the chat and all that shit. So go check that out. Go leave your comments here too for what you think about that video and all that shit. Overall, I mean, look, I said it at the beginning of the video. I think this was one of my favorite chapters in a long time. I rate this chapter a 10 out of 10. This chapter was insane. It had the emotional shit with my boy Gogenhe dying. It wasn't even an action chapter. This chapter wasn't an action chapter at all, but it was so good with that Gogenhe shit. The declaration at the declaration of war at the end of the chapter, all the lore shit that happens with the Frost Monarch and my boy Sung Jin-woo, all that shit. What a chapter, man! What a game-changing chapter. I thought it was great. I would love to see more chapters like this in the future. I hope we do. I think we will for sure. Like I said, next chapter I think is going to be another fast-paced chapter. I think we're going to see all the heroes, all the hunters, everybody come through to South Korea and see what we got, see what the army looks like at the end of the day. I think it's going to be cool. I think it's going to be really cool. But guys, that's the video. That's about everything that we got. from this chapter. Pretty big chapter for sure. Definitely due for a reread on those arcs I already mentioned, and maybe this chapter as well, because there's some shit going on for sure. Guys, let me know down below, what do you think about this chapter? What do you think is going on in Solo Leveling? And what do you think is going to happen next chapter, man? What do you think is going to happen? But guys, as always, I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.